You know what makes for a good story? Demonic beings and the purging of tainted souls. Ha, I mean, demons are cool. Just another warning, we're delving into mature content. No surprise there. Make sure you follow the writer's Twitter. I'll leave her link down below. Now, let the story begin.
I stood staring at my reflection. My eyes glazed and cloudy. My skin was pale but sallow. The fact that I was seeing myself like this wasn't as astounding as the fact that I was just seeing myself. You see, I couldn't remember much of anything but darkness before that moment. Nothing existed. No places, no sounds, nothing. I was nothing. Okay, I take that back. I wasn't nothing. I was something that most couldn't even comprehend. I was that something that nightmares were made of, flitting demons through people's minds, shadows that moved out of the corner of your eye, but disappear when you turn to look at them. I was what you most feared. But now I was something else. Something with substance and being. Something that was here for a reason. Something with a purpose. Purpose. Yes, purpose, along with a sentence playing in my head. As they are euphoric, take their soul. Over and over, the same words, the same melodic voice, or a chorus of voices, ones that I had never heard before, but never knew any others to speak to me. As they are euphoric, take their soul. All I knew was I was here, now, and I had something to do.
Get them to come with me.
Who?
Everyone.
Where?
Home.
Whose home?
Mine.
I have to find them all and convince them they have to follow me. As they are euphoric, take their soul. As they are euphoric, take their soul. Inhaling softly, I stood in a bathroom at a gas station in the middle of nowhere, in the dead of night. I had made an extensive climb from within the earth to be here, shifting and changing. I have never been male nor female. I just was. Staring at my reflection, I cocked my head to study my face. Human. I was human, I believe. Tall and thin, I was almost wife-like. And I have what I would have assumed to be blonde hair that fell just past my shoulders. Female. I was now in female form, as far as I can tell. Looking down, I cupped my hands over the modest breasts under the thin t-shirt I acquired with the random submissive human that just happened to be in this dank room when I slithered in. Yes, definitely female. I turned my eyes down to look into the dirty, overused sink and reached my long, spindly fingers to the rounded chrome handle, instinctively turning it slowly. I needed to be clean to continue. Clean for my task. The water filled the sink and I cupped it with my hands, proceeding to wash myself, letting clumps of dirt fall into the sink and floor. This human had been desolate. Alone.
Dirty.
Stripping myself of my shirt and pants, I let them fall to the floor and continued to bathe. After the last bit of dirt swirled down the drain of the sink, I dried my body and slowly put on the used clothing. Looking at myself one more time in the mirror, I leaned forward and opened my mouth to reveal my teeth. They were slightly elongated and sharpened, but gleaming under the fluorescence of the lights above me. I blinked and stood up straight, smoothing my hair, then cleared my throat. "Hello," I said softly to myself and then angled my head sideways. "Hello? Yes. Hello." Blinking again, I turned and put my hand on the doorknob. I know what I am to do. Turning it slowly, I opened the door to reveal a vast desert floor in front of me. Grass with pavement, but mostly sand. I looked to my left to hear a woman laughing, and I instinctively walked towards the sound and the dimly lit parking lot. She had her back to me, and I moved up slowly and quietly behind her. Her brown curls cascaded down her back. I walk up to her and lightly touch her shoulder, getting her to turn to me with a smile. "Oh, wow, okay, let me call you back," she said in almost a whisper into her phone as she couldn't take her eyes off of me. We were even in height, standing there eye to eye. "Hey," she said, and I felt the corners of my mouth turn up into a smile. Looking deeply into her eyes, I began to see all that she had ever done. Lying, stealing, cheating, selling her body for money. She was beautiful and perfect. Her soul screamed to me, "As they are euphoric, take their soul." "Hello," I said back, and she extended her hand out to me. I glanced down at her tanned, well-manicured fingers, and I slowly brought my own hand up to grip them, caressing and massaging the tips of my long fingers against her skin. She tensed, then relaxed almost immediately as I looked back up into her crystal blue eyes. "Will you come with me?" I said with such extreme innocence that she shuddered with a sigh. Reaching up, I caressed her cheek with my fingertips, and all that managed to escape her lips was a single moan as she stepped even closer to me. "Will you come with me?" I said again, and she was now only an inch away from my face. Her eyes closed, and I can feel her labored breathing as my fingers slowly trail down the side of her neck. "As they are euphoric, take their soul." She slowly opened her eyes again and pulled me closer, putting her mouth on mine. It was nothing but instinct, as all she knew was that she needed me. Her tongue and lips teasing and playing with mine as if they required it, with soft moans as one hand hungrily groped and grasped at every bit of skin they could find, and her other hand pushed down into the front of my pants, playing gingerly, telling me she wanted anything I was willing to give her. Reaching up, I grabbed her shoulders to push her against the stone building and let my mouth push down her neck to her chest, ripping open her shirt and bra. I sucked and tugged her skin with my lips the rest of the way down the trunk of her body and pulled up her short skirt to reveal white, lacy underwear, which I yanked on, getting them to fall down around her ankles. This is what I had to do to gain her. I wasn't sure how I knew, I just did. Slowly, turning my head, I placed my mouth on her inner thigh and parted my lips, letting my teeth elongate, sinking through the meaty muscle like a hot spike through rubber, piercing her soft, pink flesh. She whimpered as I sucked on her vein, her blood trailing down my throat as her sex flowed down my arm. Sucking harder, she screamed out as both legs now wrapped around my head and she violently convulsed at my touch. I pulled my mouth from her thigh and looked up into her eyes. Nothing was left as they clouded over with a glassy intoxication. She was mine now. I stood as she slowly slid down the wall to hover on her haunches over a puddle of her orgasmic juices and blood, and I touched her hair, getting her eyes to turn up to me. Yes, I have her. Will you come with me? I hissed to her as she slowly stood, nodding. I stared deep into her eyes. Say the words. Her lips parted and a gasp escaped as she whispered to me, I will come with you. She wheezed as her face instantly disintegrated in front of me. Clouds of fiery skin and bone, barely resembling her outline as of what I had just had in a sexual frenzy, and it bled into the wind, swirling and floating just in front of my face. That was when I inhaled, and every bit of her essence flew at me, flowing into my lungs. I reared my head back, sucking her in. Then I folded inward as all of what she once was raced through my lungs and exploded throughout my body. Shaking, I fell to my knees, throwing my face into my hands with labored breaths, and only moments later I opened my eyes again with a smile flickering over my face, allowing me to lick my lips. More, I whispered and stood, turning to walk around the corner of the building. The hum that vibrated my lips was all I could express as I saw a man standing next to his car. Walking up to him, I twirled a finger through my now long brown curls that flowed across my shoulder and down my back. Reaching down, I smoothed out my short skirt and licked my lips again. He turned to me just as I approached behind him, and a smile crept across his handsome face as his brow arched at the sight of me, his short black hair blowing lightly against his forehead and cheeks. Oh yes, his soul is perfectly tainted. Rape, assault. I had to have him. Well, hello there, he said in a genuinely seductive voice, and I walked straight up to him, putting my hand directly on the front of his jeans, rubbing his crotch. Oh, hell yeah, he said, laughing softly. Then he quickly shut up as my mouth was on his, sucking his tongue and grabbing his shirt and pushing him against the car. Whoa, easy now. Slow down, baby. We'll get there. Let's get somewhere less exposed, he said as he smirked at me. Now. I want you now. I growled at him and he chuckled. Well, okay then. His tongue pushed over his bottom lip as he studied me for a moment, possibly assessing my intentions, although he could never have fathomed what they truly were. Exhaling a deep, final breath, he opened the car's back door and slid himself onto the seat, undoing the button on his jeans. I crawled in, kneeling on the floorboard in front of him, and yanked them down to around his knees as his impressive manhood sprang free in my face. Grasping hold, I proceeded to do what I needed to get his head to fly backward with nothing but moans and pleasurable obscenities leaving his lips. Opening my mouth, I smirked at him as he throbbed and bucked at my touch, pulling his bottom lip up under his top teeth, writhing and groaning. I produced a crooked grin, watching his face as he reached that elated moment. Then I turned my face to eye his soft, hair-covered husk as I sank my teeth into his tight thigh muscle. He moaned and growled in sensual agony as he fell into an exploding submission. He tensed and mumbled softly as his satisfaction cascaded down my hand. Removing my mouth from his skin, I looked up at his face and beckoned silently for him to turn his gaze down to me. He blinked and gave me a drowsy smile as I peered into his eyes. Will you come with me? I uttered softly, and he nodded, staring down at me. Yes, he muttered. I will come with you. And just as the words escaped his lips, I was inhaling and devouring all that swirled in front of me. Turning around, I pulled myself up onto the seat, pushing my fingers through my now short, black hair. Well, okay then, I chuckled with a deep, buttery tone. Stepping out of the back seat, I adjusted my jeans around until I was comfortable. Then I pulled the nozzle out of the automobile and sat it back on the cradle. Putting a hand into my front pocket, I found the keys and I slunk onto the driver's seat to start the car. I popped my neck and adjusted the rearview mirror, then raised a brow, blinking my dark brown eyes.
As they are euphoric, take their soul.
I turned to face forward and slowly pulled from the gas station parking lot towards town. The music throbbed inside of the car as I gripped the steering wheel and pushed my foot down on the gas pedal. As they are euphoric, take their soul.
Cleanse the earth.
Those last 3 words consumed me. Cleanse the earth. They drove me to find them all. Every soul that needed to be purged. Maybe I will meet some of you.
I'm sure I'll see you all very soon. Possessed or not. Until next time, stay creepy, freaks.